There is a force more powerful than charm, more lasting than beauty, and more magnetic than wealth. It is self-respect. Without it, even the most talented person crumbles under doubt. But with it, even the quietest soul shines with unshakable strength. Self-respect is the cornerstone upon which every powerful personality is built. The unseen force that shapes how we carry ourselves, how we speak, how we act, and how we allow the world to treat us. It is not arrogance, nor is it pride in the shallow sense, but rather a profound recognition of one's own worth. An inner decision that says, I am valuable, I deserve dignity, and I will not compromise my principles for approval or temporary gain. Because when a person develops self-respect, they are no longer swayed by the fleeting opinions of others. They are no longer prisoners of external validation. They stand anchored in their own identity, firm like a mountain that withstands the storms of criticism and the winds of praise, unmoved by both, because their compass points inward, toward truth, toward authenticity, toward integrity. Imagine a person without self-respect, and you will see someone bending to every demand, fearful of rejection, changing their colors to please the crowd, restless in the search for acceptance, yet never satisfied, because without self-respect no amount of applause feels enough, no compliment fills the void. But the person with self-respect walks into the same room with quiet assurance, not needing to boast, not needing to shrink, simply existing with a natural grace that others can feel. Self-respect begins with choices, small at first. Choices like honoring your own word, showing up for yourself when no one is watching, refusing to betray your values for convenience, learning to say no when something violates your dignity, learning to say yes when opportunity calls you forward even if fear tries to hold you back, because every time you act in alignment with your values, you strengthen yourself. You reinforce the message that your life matters, that your voice matters, that your existence is worthy of honor. Over time, this grows into an unshakable core, a quiet power that radiates through your posture, through your tone, through your gaze, making people sense that here is someone who cannot be broken, here is someone who will not be manipulated, here is someone who has chosen to value themselves, and in valuing themselves, they teach the world to value them too. This is why self-respect is not a luxury, not an option, but a necessity for anyone who wishes to build a powerful personality. Because personality is not about superficial charm or borrowed confidence. It is about authenticity. It is about presence. It is about a wholeness that comes from within, and only self-respect can provide that foundation. Without it, personality is fragile, easily shattered under pressure, easily swayed by rejection. But with it, personality becomes resilient, vibrant, magnetic, and strong. And so the first step to becoming truly powerful is to honor yourself, to recognize your worth, and to build your life on the unshakable ground of self-respect. Once self-respect takes root within you, transformation begins. A transformation so profound that it reshapes not just how you see yourself, but how the world responds to you. Because when you carry yourself with self-respect, you stop apologizing for your existence. You stop shrinking into the background. You stop seeking permission to be yourself, and instead, you step forward with a sense of rightful belonging, as though every space you enter was waiting for the energy you bring. And this shift is not loud, not aggressive, but calm, steady, undeniable, because self-respect teaches you to hold your head high, not out of arrogance, but out of an awareness that you too are a human being with gifts, with dreams, with value, and that no one has the right to strip you of that dignity. Relationships begin to change, because when you respect yourself, you no longer tolerate disrespect from others. You no longer chase after those who disregard your worth. You set boundaries, and in setting those boundaries, you filter out the noise, leaving space only for those who see you, who honor you, who uplift you, and thus your circle grows stronger, healthier, more aligned with your growth. In your work, self-respect fuels excellence, because when you honor yourself, you refuse to settle for mediocrity. You commit to giving your best, not because you are desperate for recognition, but because you know your effort is a reflection of your character, and character matters more than applause. In your challenges, self-respect fuels resilience, because when failure comes and it will, you do not collapse into shame. You do not let rejection define you. Instead, you rise, reminding yourself that mistakes do not diminish your worth, setbacks do not erase your dignity, and so you try again, stronger, wiser, more determined, because you know that your value is not tied to success. It is tied to who you are, and who you are is enough. This transformation is visible. People sense it. They sense the unshakable confidence that does not need to shout, the quiet authority that comes from knowing yourself, the calm courage that comes from trusting yourself, and they respond to it. They listen to you, they respect you, they are drawn to you, because in a world full of people chasing approval, the one who stands firm in self-respect shines like a lighthouse, steady, reliable, guiding others without even trying. This is how leaders are born, not through titles or positions, but through self-respect that grows into influence, through a personality that radiates integrity and power, through a presence that commands attention without demanding it. And so the transformation continues layer by layer until your entire being reflects the truth, that you are worthy, that you are strong, that you are powerful, and that you will never again compromise your dignity for fleeting acceptance. Because once you taste the freedom of self-respect, nothing else feels worthy of pursuit. The true power of self-respect is not only in how it shapes your present, but in how it builds your legacy. Because a personality anchored in self-respect becomes more than just an individual presence. It becomes an influence, a source of inspiration, a beacon for others who are searching for their own strength. When you walk with self-respect, you show people what it means to live with dignity. You show them that it is possible to succeed without selling your soul, that it is possible to lead without oppressing, that it is possible to love without losing yourself. And in showing this, you ignite something in others, a spark of recognition, a call to rise. Because people do not remember those who chased approval. They remember those who stood firm in their truth, those who valued themselves enough to refuse compromise, those who lived as an example of courage and authenticity. Your words carry more weight when spoken from self-respect, because they are not laced with desperation, they are not colored by insecurity, they come from a place of clarity, of conviction. And so people listen, not because you demand their attention, but because you embody the kind of integrity that commands respect naturally. Your actions carry more impact when driven by self-respect because you choose wisely, you choose purposefully, you refuse to act from fear, you refuse to betray your values, and so your path, though not always easy, becomes meaningful, becomes significant, becomes a path worth following. Over time, this creates a legacy, a reputation that outlives moments, a presence that outlasts trends, a personality that cannot be forgotten, because it was never about charm or image, it was about character. It was about the quiet, consistent power of someone who knew their worth and lived accordingly. And perhaps the greatest gift of self-respect is the peace it brings, the peace of knowing you lived true to yourself, the peace of knowing you did not bow to every opinion, the peace of knowing you honored your values even when it was hard, the peace of knowing that you built a personality not on borrowed masks, but on authentic strength. And this peace radiates outward, touching others, reminding them that they too can live this way, that they too can rise, that they too can build a powerful personality by first building self-respect. And so, when the story of your life is told, it will not be told as a story of someone who chased approval, but as a story of someone who walked with dignity, who lived with integrity, who inspired others to stand taller, to dream bolder, to live freer. And that is the kind of legacy that self-respect creates. A legacy not just of power, but of lasting impact. A legacy that proves that the foundation of every truly powerful personality is, and will always be, the quiet, unshakable strength of self-respect. That is the kind of legacy that self-respect creates, a legacy not just of power, but of lasting impact. A legacy that proves that the foundation of every truly powerful personality is, and will always be, the quiet, unshakable strength of self-respect. So build it now, live it now, and let the world remember not just what you achieved, but who you became, for in the end, that is the true measure of greatness.